Trading with the Enemy Act Deconstructed. June 21, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. The idea that Franklin Delano Roosevelt's first inaugural address created a public trust impacting the general public has been thoroughly examined and debunked, and along with it, the idea that the American public was obligated to respond to his offer. The American public was self-evidently not being addressed by FDR, the municipal citizens of the United States were being addressed, and only the municipal citizens of the United States had cause to rebut his insane presumptions. Now we come to the infamous Trading with the Enemy Act. What do we observe? The enabling clause of the Trading with the Enemy Act reads, "Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled." This is an action being pursued by the territorial United States of America. By definition, such an act pertains to territorial United States citizens and to the operations of the British territorial government with respect to its obligations to provide for a mutual defense for our states and people. Nothing more or less. The citizens of the United States being referenced are the same 14th Amendment citizens of the United States referenced in Territorial Corporate Constitution, adopted in 1868, the Constitution of the United States of America. And who are these citizens? Black and other colored former plantation slaves owned as franchises of the municipal United States government ever since 1868. That is the ugly truth of the matter. This same phrase can also more generally be applied to citizens of the United States, that is, to officers of the municipal government of the United States and their federal civil service employees and dependents. Either way, the fact that these are the people being addressed throughout the Trading with the Enemy Act is made explicit by the constant reference to the United States and less frequently, the United States of America. If this act in any way referenced the American people or the state citizens of this country, the act would reference the United States and state citizens. It doesn't, so we may safely presume that it has nothing whatsoever to do with us except to exempt us, as it does under Title 50, Section 7, C and E. So all presumptions against us, against our vessels in commerce, should we have any, and against our vessels in international trade, should we be engaged in any such activity, are exempt, prepaid, not subject to seizure as enemies of any sort under any international law or rule of admiralty, including the law of prizes. Once again, the perpetrators have deliberately fostered a scam, a con game, in which they have arbitrarily declared war on each other. Both the territorial United States of America and the municipal United States have conferred citizenship upon us without our knowledge or consent, for the purpose of trading upon our good names and credit. These foreign persons, territorial, and persons, municipal, are used without our understanding or consent as tools to promote fraud, identity theft, inland piracy and usurpation against our lawful government. This ruse allows both commercial corporations to declare commercial mercenary war on each other and pretend that average Americans who are minding their own business on the land and soil of their own country are citizens of their respective foreign commercial corporations, instead. This setup allows the territorial government to attack and seize upon municipal citizens merely presumed to exist, and on the come around, allows municipal citizens to attack and seize upon any territorial legal person. The clueless Americans have no idea that their run-amok federal subcontractors have designed this scam as a damned if you do and damned if you don't doublespeak con game and a political identity theft scheme specifically forbidden by the Geneva Conventions. When pressed to justify their presumptions, both of these guilty commercial corporations claim, lamely, that these citizenship franchises they secretively conferred on us are gifts to us, but in reality, these gift franchises provide the perpetrators with an excuse to misapply the Trading with the Enemy Act. The territorial government declared war against the municipal citizens of the United States, the persons gifted to us by the Municipal Congress, and the Municipal Congress declared war by necessity against the legal persons conferred upon us by the Territorial Congress. Thus by accidentally on purpose mistaking us as officers, employees, or dependents of the rival corporation, they have colluded together to pillage and plunder their employers, the very people that they are under solemn oath and contract to protect and defend, and they have also used this jive to evade the restrictions and limitations of the constitutions without which their persons cease to exist. That is a point that needs to be brought home to these cretins. Both United States citizens and citizens of the United States are persons created by and under the authority vested in the respective constitutions owed to the states and people of this country. Without the constitutions there are no United States citizens, no citizens of the United States, and no citizens of the United States, either. Without the American states and people, the constitutions are vacated, and the foundations of both federal political moieties cease to exist. The constitutions the perpetrators are undermining and trying to escape are in fact their own meal tickets, the source of their persons, and the guarantee of their jobs. Without the constitutions all brands of U.S. citizen cease to exist, and like the dysfunctional and dishonest members of Congress, the most that federal civil service and military employees can hope for is a breadline provided by the same people you have betrayed and served and dishonored. The Territorial Trading with the Enemy Act has nothing whatsoever to do with American state citizens, and any supposition that it ever did is an outrage. These foreign commercial corporations are not authorized to conscript, press gang, volunteer, or confer any citizenship obligations on their employers, may not compel us to conduct business in any foreign jurisdiction, or compel us to be licensed to conduct business, get married, or do much of anything else that does not involve interstate transport and sale of firearms, tobacco and alcohol. A constitutional right owed to American state citizens cannot be licensed. That includes all of our natural and unalienable rights, the rights enumerated as part of the Bill of Rights, the right to conduct our private business, the right to travel freely wherever and whenever we wish, the right to speak our minds without duress, the right to our religious practices and beliefs without censor, and the right to own and enjoy our private property assets without any presumption against our persons whatsoever. The only job that the territorial and municipal governments have is to provide essential government services under contract as stipulated by the constitutions. They are not invited here to create mischief and work fraud schemes against their employers. The misapplication of the Trading with the Enemy Act and the misuse of foreign persons to work collusive constructive fraud against Americans is international crime in admiralty and commercial fraud of the worst kind. This entire circumstance is an affront far worse than anything Iran has done, and deserves immediate, complete, absolute, and permanent correction by the Pope, the Queen, the Lord Mayor of London, the President of the United States, the United Nations Secretary-General, and everyone else holding any kind of office, public or private. The United States equals as unincorporated and represents the combined national jurisdictions of the states of this country. Notice, this is a proper name. The United States. The word "the" is part of the proper name and it is styled and capitalized in exactly this way. The United States equals Foreign Holy Roman Empire Municipal Corporation under contract to provide essential government services. It's a foreign municipal corporation acting as a subcontractor exercising specific delegated powers and obligated to work within the limitations clearly stipulated by the Constitution of the United States. The United States of America equals the unincorporated federation of states holding the international jurisdiction owed to this country and the original delegator of the delegated powers under which the territorial subcontractor doing business in our name as the United States of America functions. Again, notice that the is part of the proper name of the Federation of States. The Territorial Commercial Corporation doing business as the United States of America is a foreign commercial corporation subcontractor exercising specific delegated powers and obligated to work within the limitations clearly stipulated by the Constitution of the United States of America as originally enacted. Look as long and as hard as you like at the Trading with the Enemy Act and you will never see a reference to the United States nor to the United States of America. What you will see are plenty of references to our subcontractors and their citizens. The only thing that the Trading with the Enemy Act can say about us is what it in fact does say about us, that we are exempt, totally, absolutely, without question, and that our persons are also totally exempt. So let this be public notice to the Pope, to the Queen, to the Lord Mayor of London, and to the President of the United States. The Trading with the Enemy Act has nothing to do with the American states and people. If you can't read and understand what the Trading with the Enemy Act actually says, and who and what it pertains to, it's time to get out of the kitchen. For the neophytes among us, the Holy See sided with the southern states of the Confederacy in the Civil War, while the British King sided with the northern Confederate states. They have been playing mercenary games on our shores ever since, taking pot shots at each other on one hand and colluding with each other to defraud, pillage, and plunder the actual states of the Union on the other. This is clearly nothing but immoral, illegal, and unlawful activity by commercial corporation subcontractors against their employers. The actual states of the Union never declared any war and didn't participate in the mercenary conflict known as the American Civil War. So these criminals have been on our shores and on our backs, telling lies about us and misrepresenting us, purposefully misidentifying us, setting up constructive fraud schemes, falsifying public records, and working identity theft rackets against their employers while taking their paychecks from our pockets. They have used federal code, which is literally encoded, to promote false legal presumptions, facilitate identity theft, and promote hypothecation of debt against assets that don't belong to them. Let this serve as public notice, and let service be noted, that all assets of all Americans that have been seized upon by the United States Attorney General under false presumptions encouraged by the Trading with the Enemy Act are already claimed by the states and people of this country. The United States Attorney General and Army General Staff are under demand to perform according to their obligations under the Constitution of the United States of America as originally enacted, by the lawful heirs and landlords who have indisputable provenance, and who have never been subject to any aspect of the Trading with the Enemy Act. A very serious mistake has been made by the federal subcontractors. A very profound breach of trust has occurred. All land and titles, all property assets and interests naturally belonging to the United States of America, the member states of the Union, and the American people must be returned without further pretense or delay.